Voice chat knows. What stock is that again? Welcome to Read the Room with Unc. What is up, everybody? This is Unc coming at you. This week's Read the Room. First of all, happy Easter, everybody out there celebrating the holiday. Probably be a little condensed today, uh, just because it is a holiday. So probably just gonna jump right in here for you guys. Got the new hot list, as well as a couple updates on plays that we've been involved in, and then some direction for the room. So let's jump right into this without any order or reason. We're just going to go alphabetically, and this time we're going to actually start with the Z's. So the first one up will be Zillow. And this play basically is just coattailing off the professor's recent real estate finds. Just a bigger name. It's one of the few times where I actually get a bigger name that I like from a TA standpoint versus the flow setup. But this is finally looking good with the 53, 55 May 6 calls, as well as some leaps to the higher level. Just pretty much like anything in the 40s, kind of rinse repeat back into the 50s. Have a couple levels on the chart. Once they get confirmed, we should be able to move through that zone and hopefully get back into this gap that we have here. So just trying to find bottom here. Be mindful of this, especially if real estate starts to hit. WWR is a pure continuation from last week. Um, Pretty much just still on the same level. Feel like we're kind of early here. Just want to stay on top of it. If you're actively in it or following it, just stick with your plan, scale in. This thing is basically holding the level that we found on the chart pretty well. USFD, United States Foods Corp. Another one of them consumable defensive plays from the professor. We're in a channel here. This one has a little better setup from the flow end than the TA side, but still a strong enough play in this channel. Definitely looking for more of this channel to confirm at the 38 to the 40 level before the upward move. So don't think we're going to get the dip buy back to 35, but I would like to see it hold a little better, the 38 range, 38 before the move into 40. I think that's where the bigger and better play will be once we get out of this zone. Currently, the options are good, so that's why this is going to be on the hot list. The strike is to 40 and then 50 in July. So if we get the bottom of the zone, I would take it from the share side because the flow is pretty strong. UEC, a couple uranium plays will be on here. Just continuation of a hot sector and trend. We buy this on pullback days. I try to keep it updated in the room when I see it's a good time to buy. These are definitely day trade scalps, scale in, scale out. But we definitely have a good level forming, around the $5 range that we haven't put on the chart yet, but it's definitely moved on to a next level from where we first have added this stock. SVM's a silver. I think I posted on Monday last week because they all pulled back a little bit that we were early. Still feel that way. This one we're just basically saying the $4 level will be the pivot. Strikes on this are still looking good. The whole sector, they're still buying. Again, I think we were just a little early on silver. And the other side of the coin, gold. Still strong flow leads on a couple of these ones that are a little behind. Sand is a continuation from the hot list last week. If you've been playing or been in it, I'd continue to look for it, especially after a little bit of a cool off period. Good old 438, kind of not necessarily building support, but establishing this level rather well before the next leg up. When you get to new highs, this is kind of a trend that happens. You'll really confirm profit takers, new buyers in on a support level before you make that next move up. 438 is what we have. Anything you can get around there just seems like it's gold. RDW, Redwire, lots of space plays are on this list. Just in general, it's the sector we like. It's kind of beat down The flow looks really strong. And most of these guys have catalysts via orders or back orders or partnerships. So the news and PR are real good. This is holding six rather well the last week. Again, just think we're a little early here. If this does drop out of this level, I would definitely look, for the retest of the five. But I like the way the six is holding. This should get back to the $8 to $10 range with any sort of good PR push or sector push. Roblox, kind of a bigger name. I mean, the professor didn't really talk about before, but after talk about in the voice chat, kind of both on the same page with it. We might be super early here, but everything suggests that this will make a move up, maybe even to the $60 level. But that's a good sign from here, especially with the way the chart's set up. That 80 is probably the stronger level. 60 is kind of the middle spot from where we are. Great company. Kind of talked about how they are profitable but invest in themselves, and also a target for acquisition if we do stay down here. Party City was alerted, not an alert in the room this week, just because I thought we were buying our time, and it took off up to the fours. So we checked the flow with the professor. Everything on that side still looks pretty good. And just if we back out here a little bit, there's plenty of room on the chart up here to the $7 level, even 575. This is kind of a $4 to $5 play for me at this point in time. I've talked about that $4 to $5 play works really well with my strategy, because $4 to $5 is 25 cents, and my position size that basically takes care of my goal for the day if I get a move like that. So this one is looking basically to reestablish this level before moving up to the $6 to $7 range. Pin and DraftKings kind of go hand in hand. Kept Pin on there, just think it's a better setup. It's just slowly coming into this 32 level. A little early here maybe, but it's good to kind of watch it catch the base. Everything about it says in the long run they're still looking for this to turn around. The reason I like it is because of the gaps back up. As soon as we do get a flow read that's above 50, I think this thing will move. I'm just kind of playing the bottom of the chart here. Another find from the professor. Most of his things have very strong flow reads. This one was a little interesting since it had 13, 14 in June. Kind of looking for the pullback to this line, this 1150-11 line. It's bounced off it a few times, but it's perfect higher lows. The channel's tightening up, and the flow reads are suggesting a decent move north. This is one I believe that could also be walked up. So try to find a spot on entry, whether it's share size or option size. I personally am just looking for the lower 11s if possible. All right, pass. This was professor just put this on the chart because it's Easter. No, that's a total joke. It's a lagging silver play. Great leaps June and July, 35 to 40, which kind of lined up perfect on the TA side to push to new all-time highs. So I do like this setup. We are kind of breaking out of a level currently, right around here, right around the 27.5 range. But I'm pretty confident with adding in the 20s. A little lower would be great, especially with the range to 35 and 40. And again, sector is silver, so a little more strength in that sector than let's say tech or bios or something like that. And NOV, National Oil Well. This is another one, kind of the same theme. It's obviously an oil one, but it's just a little lagging behind everybody else. I got a nice channel established. I think we do get pullback to the bottom of that, and then look for, the flow to take over and push this thing out of the zone, which it does suggest we will make that move. So lagging oil, if you missed Oxy and all those other fun ones, this might be the not necessarily something that's going to move that far, but something that still has enough ground to move. Nat was a tanker. Found a few weeks ago, had a great run, a little bit of pullback this week. Just once you see a run, especially to a level that has been tested before, you just kind of get these pullbacks a little bit. and that's kind of where we are here. Professor still likes the flow. As soon as I mentioned it, it was an instant yes on keeping this in here. So I'm just looking for this level to confirm. Dip buys here will pay if you can get to 250s, 230s. Um, I actually went the wrong way on this last week. Bought a little too high, um, and it made it back to the level, but following the rules, I did get stopped out. Um, so I like the setup. I like the stock. It's pretty easy to trade. Just pick a good spot because entries are king in a play like this. Recent IPO, Space Play, Hella Beatdown, you name it, it's on the list here. Just as we get further along in our process, me and the professor, searching sectors for the ones that have yet to move are what my skill set is um, to bring added value to this. And um, this one seemed pretty good. The only negative about this is there's no options. Might be why I flag on a little bit. But this chart's beat the crap. I don't put much into price targets, but a $22 price target, I'll take half of that from here. Just keep an eye on this one, especially if you like swinging shares. And Lumen, this was up. LILM was Professor's Play a few weeks ago. Actually got the pop real quick, and it came right back down to the level that we bought it on the first time. Caught my eye, ran it by him again, and everything on the flow side still seems to kind of line up. That 750 is the level they want this at. So um, kind of a rinse and repeat at this point in time. The first move wasn't all of the move, it seems like, and we have a higher low if this holds. Just like the setup, especially since it's right on our level. Nigeria. I actually called this a couple weeks ago, kind of back and forth with me on the professor. He called it the first time, I called it the second time. The third time here, we both agree it's a good spot. The 875 RTL have the calls coming up here on 520, kind of line up perfectly with this chart back to 11. That's what we're looking for, that $8 to $11 move here. Kind of play in this range until we break out. Maybe a little bit of in the middle of the zone, but the volume profile shows me there's enough share distribution there that I should be able to hold this level around 850. IMPP, kind of like the Premier. We got one or two of the crappy energies. I'll do a write-up tonight. I got another 5 or 6 of them just to be mindful of if you've already in them. But the crappy energy ran Friday. All the charts have plenty of range. We're just looking for the volume and the catalyst to come back in to push these back up to that range. I mean, I wouldn't expect 10 out of this thing, but we're at $1.40 again. Even if we get $4, it's a pretty good move on this one. IMAX. Ever been to the movies? This definitely lines up with products that you use, invest in. Pretty easy established channel and range for me, 17 to 20. Flow actually lined up perfectly with that, with 17s to 20s on the 520, and then the leaps are outrageous. Big numbers on the leaps, 25, 27. This will turn around. It's a matter of time. Right now we can buy it at the bottom of a zone that's been established for almost a year. Just seems like a good setup overall. Beautiful find by the professor on something that we both are already knowledgeable on. HYMC. Almost doing the same thing we did at $1.30, now at the $2 level. I was kind of saying 175 in chat. I just haven't seen that come yet. I don't know if we'll get there. We did get into the dollars, $1.80 I think. It's kind of a matter of time for me here. Volume again, volume is king. This just has an interesting thing being a silver miner, the AMC link, and all that stuff. So we're keeping this one on the radar for sure. HUSA is the second crappy energy play on here. Professor's actually more adamant about this one than IMPP. Just from the option side, it looked a little better with his 5-6 in May. The volume on this one, again, just a huge situation. If we get volume, these should move. I wouldn't expect the $20 move again, but even a move to the 6 area right in here should be good, and that's kind of supported by flow. So buying up off of this level seems like something that could be profitable. Here, this was actually the first mention from the professor. The chart is kind of in the middle of a zone, but the flow reads were 12 and 15, um, August, September, and then 12 August, September for sure, and then 8 and 15 shorter terms. So they're kind of like already up in this range, playing strikes up in this range, and we're still down here. So beautiful setup if that's the case. Really didn't have anything besides try to get in the 8 and 9 level, in between 8 and 9, especially with the very, very strong reads to 12 to 15. Groupon. We're kind of finding the crappy apps that everybody knows. They're all kind of beat down. Groupon, I just like we are here where we are here in the chart. We have 5, 6 for $21, and then June for 27. It kind of puts us back into this zone. I like anything below 20. Be mindful if flow reads come in on this because this can move quick back to the 35 range. Gato, it's another silver play. Super early. Still feel like we're super early. Not much to update. He's on display the chart as we have. Same information. This one's getting into the gap. This could get spicy here next week. Fubo we're staying on. It's great down here. The pops off this level are great. It's definitely finding support, whether it's $5.50, $6. This thing's looking for a spot to land, especially if we get zoomed in a little more. Playing the pops back so far have been great for day trade scalps. Getting a lot of tight candles. This is eventually going to turn, especially with news or good ER. It's more of a long-term play for us, like this one better than, let's say, a SoFi or a Lucid. 5, holdover from last week. Continuation here. Professor still sees 190 coming in. Just has more to give from the option side, so we're going to keep it on the hot list. If you haven't been trading it, especially on the SARE side, probably let it go. Option scalps, definitely probably the way to trade this one. Another silver continuation play, Endeavor. Again, this one's just lining up with the top of the zone. Everything still suggests silver's going to continue. Like I said, I think I said it Monday, and I'll probably post it 4 more times this week. We were early on silver. Krispy Kremes, not Dunkin' Donuts. Just because it says donuts, don't let that name recognition happen. Again, it's on the hot list last week. Kind of fell down. Everything on the flow side still there. The same notes you still have from this last week, I would continue with those. It's kind of why the professor does stress buying strikes a little farther out, or exactly where the whales buy. Follow the whales to a T, and don't get cute with your expiration dates because that extra week might mean a lot to the trade. DNN, just a slow, steady grinder. I actually had some panic on this about 2 weeks ago. People were worried about it. I personally love the 165 level. The higher lows, you could draw almost a beautiful trend line on this thing on the March to 2. If you go by that, it will be 2 about halfway through the month. It'll be at 2 about halfway through the month. Just a continuation play. If you can't trade charts like this in an uptrend, find a way to be profitable. Might want to check your style and plan a little bit because these are pretty much laydowns from the professor. Yes, it's only $1.60, but when you get a stock that moves, we're talking 10, 15 cents some days. You take those 10% moves in the equity. Sinclair, more than a gas station, I found out today. Recent IPO. Very, very hard for me to go off the chart. Talked about using what signals you can early on here. So we have mid candle, a doji that's actually confirming right here. Kind of a little bit of a ascending triangle or descending triangle here. Let me check my notes. We got 40, 45 in June on the leaps. So this is looking to step up a little bit. Almost reminds me of BlackRock Coffee, but from a TA side, I feel blind. Flow makes me see a little bit. And CDE, mining stock continuation. This I actually said this is Rig 2.0, and by golly, it has it pretty much so far confirmed. We stayed real low below the zone. We got tight. Really doesn't check on the levels we have drawn. It respects the trend line a lot more, but when it broke out of the second level, it really broke out of the second level. Um, Flow still suggests the move to north into the gap here, and it's kind of what we're looking for. Again, great find by the professor. I don't think many people followed this. Stayed under the radar. Just try to find a good entry. For me, it's right around $5. Coffee definitely made our list in general. Bros and Starbucks and Black Rock Coffee kind of all made the list. This one just has a higher low forming here right at 51. Um, and all the flow reads suggest that they'll make the move back to 60 here. I'm looking for leaps after that. This is probably the better company of the three, to be honest. And BlackRock Coffee made the list. We wouldn't touch it in the 30s. It pulled right back to this 22 level. They exercised all of their warrants. Um, Professor talked about how there was even $2 calls. Like people did not care about this stock. It really seemed like people want shares. I don't see that going away or still not being an issue. Now we have 22 to 35 established as a range. Looking to check back into that. That's plenty of a percentage. It's honestly 50% of a range. So try to find a trade in there. The option side should stay spicy as well. Nice find here by the professor. Um, ATSG here. This kind of dipped last week and then came right back up. They had some Boeing news. Um, they're kind of a transportation air service. They lease planes from Boeing. I love how the 30 levels confirming here, especially with 35 in May and 45.50, excuse me, 45.40 in August on the flow side. Just seems to kind of need to find a place to build support. The 30 seems likely. It was going to try 25 and said no. But from 30 to 40, that's plenty of range um, for a trade. ASTR is one of my favorite space plays because it really does respect the range. This has been on the hot list several times. Everything still suggests the sector in general is going to move as a whole, and all these charts have plenty of range, not only in the channels they're currently in, but back to where the strike prices are. This setup is great. Company pretty decent as well. AMRS, chemical sector. Love this stock and setup, especially since we're creating this really big frying pan bottom down here. Flow still suggests that we will move out of this zone. My number's always been 7 with this, and we're still getting those kind of strikes. Just kind of buying our time here. You know, when these charts get to moving, they're usually quicker to get back into the range that they fell out of. Alto was a voice chat stock on Thursday after market. Pretty interesting story from a company standpoint. They used to have specialty ingredients, kind of went downhill, went even farther downhill when COVID hit, turned their whole entire plant basically into hand sanitizer, specialty alcohols. Through that process, became a specialty alcohol and specialty product company. So they're anything they do, they have a buyer for, and they're basically retracing. If you go off the 10-year chart, 650 is kind of the spot I like here. Just as something that has built support recently. Flow reads are a little bit higher on this. We have 910 in May, and then the leaps are just ridiculous into the 20s. Which normally I wouldn't mention that, but it does line up historically with the chart. This company is going to be a pretty good success story, turning around a failing product into a new niche product with the COVID and specialty alcohol. And last but not least, ACI, the only grocery store that didn't move up and out of the zone. We're still kind of stuck on this 33.5 level. Just need some confirmation. But of all the grocery stores, Like I said, this is the last one to move up and off this level. They just had ER. Um, the flow suggests that we should still get back and test the 40s, which is plenty of range. Um, just another lagging one in the sector that should stay strong, especially with the current world events. A couple news and notes from the room. Me and the professor kind of talked a little bit about we have the hot stove and the back burner or the Hall of Fame that we're going to be putting up. Basically, stocks that like Macy's and Alcoa and a couple others that have not only far exceeded our goals, but still offer trades where they're at. Um, Play is another one that continuously offers play in a range. Um, so we're trying to find a home for that. Personally, I'm going to start, or I'm going to keep going with my top five list. This week I did a top five stocks under $1, and I'm going to start in the morning, putting together a daily write up just to have a little bit more content on a daily basis for you guys. I want to do inside bar plays, momentum plays, and then Wookie Cross 1313 EMA crosses on the day chart play. So just things that hit scanners that I have built that I'm looking at. Probably limit those for a while to 2 or 3 of each. Give you a quick write up and some levels in the morning. Main point of that is those are 3 unique styles, whether it's an inside bar, Momo, or a 1330 cross. Those are 3 different signals, 3 different styles to learn how to trade. And through this journey, helping you guys find which one works best for you, which one's most easiest identifiable for you, and of course, which one's the least risky, most profitable for you. Um, I think the only way we get there is by trying and showing different styles and examples. And these are ones that helped me along the way that I still use pieces of if I don't use them independently. So be on the lookout for that. A lot more morning content. We kind of both pressed. Well, let me mention that. Professor also is going to do early morning stream, kind of what he does to get ready for the day, because we both really stress the opening as the more important part of the day, like being ready in the morning, getting up maybe an hour before the market, putting some notes together, looking at some charts, as opposed to rolling in at 6:15 and just grabbing a stock off the hot list. So we're going to curtail what we do towards the successful things that work for us. And being prepared in the morning is definitely one of them. So be on the lookout for that. A little more content from both of us. As always, we appreciate the support. Everything's looking good. Coming out that short week, be mindful of taxes and any other the news plays. But I think we get a lot of buyers coming in, especially towards the end of the week. Now that the tax bills have been paid, you kind of know, everyone kind of knows what they're dealing with, and they want to not only get that back, but set up for another good year. So be mindful. All right, everybody, let's have a good week. Let's stick to the plan. Let's take profit when we see it. Move our stop loss up when we get a runner. Scale in, scale out. You know all the good stuff. Do I really got to say it, though? I'm not a financial advisor. Appreciate y'all in the RTL Academy. Let's have a good week. And as always, read the room, but most importantly, respect the lines.